Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday, aka Martes or Mars Day. It is also a day where we, as Jyotish practitioners, Vedic astrologers, honor Ketu, which is the South Node, which represents all of our past lives. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about that today and why we're seeing what's going on in the collective and what the next incoming eclipses mean as far as that goes. So, you don't want to miss today's show. So, like I said, today is Martes or Mars Day. So you can wear red coral to honor Mars. Other ways you can honor Mars is to do something active today because Mars is a very active planet. He's also very disciplined. So if there's ways that you can add to your routine, your daily routine, and a little more discipline into your life, Mars likes that as well. He's also a young planet, so it's important that we're not too impulsive with our actions. Now, Mars is currently in a sidereal Gemini, and he's moving direct. He's been retrograde for quite a while, and that was in the 7th house of the United States. So now that he's moving direct, we're getting to see how the relationships are developing between the United States and its allies, which represent that beautiful 7th house. And they're changing quite a bit. Lots of shakeups, especially because the US had its Yama return, its Pluto return. It's the return of it's a reset. Okay, so we're getting to kind of see where the inner warriors are coming in from this incoming administration and where their focus is going to be, which is very interesting. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we can expect there, but I'm also going to go into the energy of the day and some remedies that we can do to mitigate maybe some of the anxiety and other things that we're feeling as these big changes come forth. So like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Ketu today. Now, this is Rahu and Ketu. This is the North and the South Node. They are the shadow grahas or shadow entities, the moon, that cause eclipses. And we have one on the 14th and one on the 29th. And I'm going to get more into that as we get closer, as well as remedies that we can do to mitigate some of this. So a really good mantra that you can do to honor Ketu today, which is your South Node, all of those beautiful past lives, is Om Ketuve Namaha. And you can do that 108 times via Amala. So that's another good thing that you can do for Ketu. If you're feeling like your self-esteem is a little low or you're a little aggressive today, you can do one for Mars. And that is Om Mangalaya Namaha. And that's Lord Mangala, who is our inner warrior. He represents that beautiful Manipura Nakshatra, and so you can give you some strength there. All right, so I'm going to talk about the Adi Devata of the day. That's going to help us with our mind, and that is Brahma. Brahma is the creator of the universe, and he's part of a Trimurti. Vishnu, the preserver, Shiva, the destroyer, and Brahma, the creator. They all represent source. These are just the various personalities to help us in our human understanding. And a good mantra you can say for him is Om Brahmanye Namaha. And again, you can do that via Amala, especially if you're feeling so your mind needs some calming. Okay. And then the Pratyadi Devata. Now, this is one of my favorites, you guys, and he is the spiritual preceptor for Vedic astrologers and Jyotish practitioners. So I love him very much. And it is Ganesha Ji. It's Lord Ganesha. And so we call him Ganapati. He's got many beautiful names. And he is a wonderful God. He helps us separate from our ego a little bit, which is also what Ketu does, because the one thing that these two entities have in common is that they were made headless. Now, Ganesha, long story short, his head was replaced with an elephant head, and there's a lot of different stories behind this. The main one was that Parvati, his mother, had created him, and he was guarding her bath her bath chamber while she was bathing, so that no one came in, demons, things like that. And so he was guarding it, and Shiva came up, and he hadn't met Shiva yet, which was his father. And Shiva goes, "Let me pass." And he goes, "Oh no, you're not getting through here. I'm guarding this." And he goes, "Oh really?" And so they had this big argument, and Shiva ended up taking his head off with his trident. Parvati came out and said, "Oh my gosh, what did you do? That's our son." Shiva went, "Oops," ran out into the forest, got an elephant head, and transplanted it on Ganesha. Shiva, it's symbolic. What Shiva does is he removes the ego. And when he removes the ego, what that allows is for spirit to then create what's called a moksha or an enlightenment. So it is a parable for letting go of the body, letting go of the mind, letting go of the limiting adjuncts that are keeping us going from birth to birth to body, and instead achieving enlightenment. But you can't achieve enlightenment without letting go of the ego first, the material ego or the individual jiva. So that's what the meaning behind those parables is. Okay, so a really good mantra that you can do for Ganesha, very simple. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And you can pray to Ganesha for the removal of obstacles in your path. He is a wonderful deity to pray to for that. So, and he is the brother of Lord Mangala, that is, Lord Skanda, who is the god of war, who's related to Mars and the inner warrior in all of us. So I know in North India, they tend to worship Ganesha ji, and then in South India, they tend to watch, they tend to worship Lord Mangala. And there's a whole story behind that too that I'll get into at a later date as well. So that brings us to the lunar energy. The moon is in Sidereal Aries, so that's a big fiery moon. It's ruled by the woman's womb, so I have to cover up a couple parts here. Okay. These are two women that are in labor, and it shows their body parts, so I have to cover them up for YouTube. So Bharani represents she who bears. It's the divine yoni. It's the portal for which we all come, our mothers. And Bharani it's a beautiful char. It's the power to renew. And if you see the little guy up there, that's Yama. That's Lord Yama. And he brings us out of that world, out of this world. That is the god of death. So we all come into this world naked and crying, and we all leave this world naked and crying. And that is what Bharani is here to teach us. And one of the spiritual gifts that Bharanis can have is that they can be excellent death doulas or birth doulas, meaning that they can help bring us into this world and they can help us transition out of it. These are traditionally women that were part of various tribes, cultures, all different creeds, and they would help women through their childbirth and bearing. And then they also served, especially women and these are usually women in their crone years, they would serve as divine helpers to those who were getting ready to cross out of the body and into their next birth. Okay, so it's a very beautiful nakshatra. Now, this nakshatra was eclipsed a couple of years ago, and that's when I saw the Roe v. Wade get overturned. And let me see if I can show you what that looks like. I believe yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you one chart here. Okay, so if you look at the bottom chart there, it's on the bottom left. It says solar eclipse April 30th, 2022. Okay, that was a solar eclipse. It was in Bharani, that rules the woman's womb. That happened on April 30th. The documents that said it was going to be overturned were leaked May 2nd. Then the next solar eclipse where Rahu and Ketu, Rahu was in Bharani, okay, it was since overturned since then. So when people ask me, you know, how do you know about when these things happen and that they're going to actually come to fruition, is we look at the eclipses. Okay, that's what astrologers do. And the eclipses, they reveal dark secrets, okay, things that are happening that are going to come to fruition. The one on April 8th, 2024 was what brought us the secret of Project 2025. Okay, so that's how we're able to kind of keep track of these things. So today is a wonderful day to honor the divine feminine. It's a wonderful day to practice some restraint when it comes to our senses, because those are the things that can keep us coming in body after body after body. And I'll go a little bit more into that. So, oh gosh, so that's the moon, that's Mars. We've got a few other things that I'm going to go into a little later. We still have that tight Rahu Neptune conjunction in Sidereal Pisces. So if you're feeling a little fog, that's what's causing that. It's in the 4th house of the United States of real estate, but Venus is there too and about to go retrograde. So we still have some time to make positive decisions materially for our family members. So that's good. Yay, Venus. All right. So because it is Key Tuesday, our South Node, I wanted to get into one of the highest realms that we can enter as souls. This is a very special realm, and it's called Vaikuntha Loka. It's very beautiful. Okay. Right. All right. So Vaikuntha Loka. In Vaikuntha, all persons dwell having the form of Vishnu. That is the preserver, of the universe. And I'm getting this from What Becomes of the Soul After Death by Swami Sivananda. If you go to sivananda.org, you can get these free on PDF. Okay. So, Vaikuntha Loka. In Vaikuntha, all persons dwell having the form of Vishnu. and propitiate him by means of dharma, which is not prompted by desire of any fruit. So these are people who did a lot of good acts in their past lives, and they didn't expect any reward for it because that's just who they are. Okay. There dwells a glorious first person who is only in the range of words, who is known to be only by the Vedanta. Vedanta is spiritual knowledge, text, etc. Who, having associated himself with sattva, that's purity, unmixed with rajas, that's passion and expectation of reward, showers blessings on us, his devotees, he would then make happy. There stands a garden called the highest happiness, filled with trees that yield all that is desired, and shines like the embodiment of the final beatitude. In Vaikuntha Loka, the muktas that move about in vimanas, now vimanas are chariots, okay? And muktas are people that have been liberated, along with their consorts, are indifferent to the perfumed breeze through their mind, although they are agitated by the fragrance of the Madhavi flowers. These are creepers that kind of drip with honey, and they have a very, very strong scent. And they always sing the Lord's deeds, which cleanse the world of all sins. So the muktas, they are people that have overcome the senses, and they are there to just live in divinity and with divinity. While in Vaikuntha, the kingly bee hums as if singing the story of Hari, and comes for a moment a lull of the tumult of pigeons, cuckoos, cranes, ruddy geese, chatakas, swans, parrots, titris, and peacocks. So there's lots of birds here. There in Mandara, the Kunda, the Kurava, the Utpala, the Champaka, the Arna, the Punaga, the Naga, the Bakula, the Ambuja, and the Parijata, these are all flowers that are, they have very, very high fragrances, and they're beautiful. So it's just beautiful plants, beautiful flowers, just birds of every species. It's a very nice nature-based place, okay? All right, they regard very highly the tapas of Tulasi. Now, is it Tulsi, sweetie? Tulsi. When her fragrance is appreciated and valued by Hari, who wears a garden of Tulsi as his ornament. Tulsi is his favorite flower. It's very, very fragrant and beautiful. And when we do puja to honor the preserver of the universe, they will get garlands of this flower. In Vaikuntha Loka, it is thronged with vimanas. Those are the vimanas. Those are the celestial chariots of Vaiduria. Vaiduria is the cat's eye stone. Wearing cat's eye today is a very good remedy for Ketu, because that is his stone. Emerald, that's Mercury's stone and Vishnu's, and gold, which are visible only to those who bow at his feet. And their women of stout hips and smiling faces do not by their maddening smiles or other arts excite the passion of the muktas who have given their hearts to Krishna. These are the divine gopis. They're beautiful women that are in divine bliss and bhakti for the Lord of the universe. And so the muktas, they're beyond the passions, they're beyond the senses, so they're not affected by femininity or beautiful women at all. That's what that means. There in the abode of Hari, the faultless goddess Lakshmi, in her most beautiful form, with her arms freely suspended, with lotus-like feet resounding with anklets, appears by her image reflected in the crystal walls, chased with gold, as if engaged in dusting the house. Lakshmi, whose grace is sought after by others, Brahma and all others. So there's little remnants of Lakshmi dusted everywhere, and this beautiful golden images. There in her own garden, at the wells of pure nectar-like water, surrounded by parapets of coral, while worshipping the Lord with Tulsi, Lakshmi saw her own face with beautiful looks and prominent nose reflected on the water, and thought that it was kissed by the glorious Lord. To that Vishnu Loka do not go those who listen to bad stories which spoil the mind. So it's important that we listen to good advice. We follow the right parables. We don't follow the bad advice of the material world, okay? Because they concern subjects other than the deeds, creation, etc. of Hari, who shatters the sin of his devotees. Hari is another word for Krishna or Vishnu. The bad stories which heard by unfortunate men deprive them. These are lies told in Mrityuloka, the death plane, where things can be used for the purposes of the material instead of the spiritual. They deprive them of all merit, and alas, throw them into the hells of darkness where no relief is possible. These are men who, deluded by the widespread Maya, that's the delusion that this place is real, it's actually a testing ground, okay, do not perform the worship of their most gracious Lord, though they have attained this human life, which is very hard to get. This is sought after even by us, in which it is possible to gain knowledge of the truth along with the practice of Dharma. It is very difficult to get a human birth, but when we take on these births, the Holy Spirit, the Lord of all, is within us, and that is when we can really come to enlightenment. So this is a very beautiful gift that we've all been given. Thither goes those men who are far above us and possessed of enviable nature and character, men from whom Yama stands aloof, or who have risen above Yama and Niyama and other restrictions, on whose body the hairs stand on end, and whose eyes tears flow, their mind and heart being overwhelmed by intense love, and their mutual conversations about the Lord of delightful glory. So these are not only men of knowledge, but one of bhaktis, because they have they have the emotional purity of heart. It's a very beautiful, beautiful state of being. So Vaikuntha, the one region worthy of praise in all the worlds, which is shining most splendid with its most beautiful and wonderful mansions of the gods and wise men, and which is short of a region of divine nature, is occupied by the Father of the universe. This is the goal, guys. Okay. There are 7 entrances to Vaikuntha, in which the entrance there are 2 gods of the same age, armed with a gada. A gada is like a club. Okay. Beautifully adorned with invaluable Kura, Kundala, and Krita, who wear about their necks, and between their 4 blue arms, Vanamala, also called a wreath, about which swarm gladsome bees, who appear to wear a face of somewhat dark with anger, with the bent brow and prominent nose, wide nostrils, and red eyes. So they're guarding it. And they guard these 7 points of access. And we have to transmute those things in order to enter this plane. You can only enter this plane by the blessings and the grace of the one divine being. So it's a really beautiful place to study. I want to get into a little bit of something by Paramahamsa Yogananda, because I think this is important. This talks about, why are the kings of the world acting this way? I call them the kings because they do represent Magha Nakshatra. Magha is the throne, okay? It's not just a movement started by the current president of the United States. It is an actual nakshatra, and it is his and J.D. Vance's ascendant. Magha means throne, okay? And that's the power to leave the body, its status, ancestors, pride, vanity, and royalty, okay? So why are the kings of the age acting the way that they are? And I did a little deep dive into this, and I actually found a really great video by Sri Ravi Shankar. He's one of the gurus of the age. And an aspirant came to him and said, Guruji, why are the kings of the age acting like this? Why are the rich just hoarding and hoarding? And he goes, they don't think they're going to die. And everyone in the audience laughs, and he goes, no, surely, Guruji, tell me the real answer. And he goes, they are trying to cheat death. And he goes, no, Guruji, no one gets out of here alive. He goes, I know that. Everyone knows that. They think they can cheat it with their wealth. They think they can use their materialism as a way to cheat death, keep everything forever, and stay in what they believe is heaven. But this is the place called Mature Loka, where all things die. So they are deluded. They think that they can bring heaven on earth for themselves. They cannot. They think they can cheat death. They cannot. So this is a lot for us to kind of understand, because all of us do understand that we all come through, we pass through here, and we leave here. But not all souls have fully grasped that yet. And they think that through their material wealth that they can cheat death. Okay, that's kind of a hard thing to grasp. One of the parables that I think helps with this was when a rich man came up to Jesus and his disciples and said, I want to attain immortality. I want to attain the kingdom of heaven. I want to be alive forever. I want to enjoy forever. And Christ said to him, give up all your wealth, leave your family comfortable, follow me, do as I do, and I will grant you immortality. And the rich man, eyes downcast, said, I can't do that. I can't leave my wealth. I can't. I'm sorry. And Jesus replied that it is as hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel to enter the eye of a needle. What did he mean by that? When we leave these bodies, we don't take any of our wealth with us, our houses, our family members, even these very bodies, okay? We leave everything behind. We take our last breath, and upon that last breath, our soul departs. And that soul is consistent of ether. Ether can enter the eye of a needle, okay? What he was saying to this rich man is you're clinging to Maya, you're clinging to the delusional. And when you free yourself of those material things, then you can start to understand mortality. Another way that we can look at this is the 40 days and 40 nights that Christ spent in the desert. That's very specific. Why not 30 days and 30 nights? Why not 50 days and 50 nights? Why not 1 year? Because as part of the journey of the guru towards spirituality, we call it sadhana in yoga, gurus who are ready, aspirants, sadhaks, who are ready to really go on to the next level, are buried for 40 days and 40 nights, buried in the dirt, without food, without water, without anything. They usually can plug their noses and ears additionally to this. Tortoises do it as well. That's how they stay alive for so long. So they go into a state of what's called samadhi, which is a deep, deep form of meditation. And for 40 days and 40 nights, they can go without food and water. When Christ came across John the Baptist, who was formerly Elijah, which is also in the Bible, he's reincarnated. He was a guru who came to initiate Christ into gurudom. And part of that was the baptism, of course, but he showed him all of the ways of how to work with the body and yoga in order to, for instance, go into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights and survive without food and water. That's what gurus and these sadhaks can do. Men that have been here for multiple, and women who have been here for multiple births, that can enter into these states because they've done a lot of sadhana, which is spiritual practice, which is annihilation of the body in favor of the more spiritual ways of being and thinking. So it's when we give up the material that we can actually attain immortality. And the current kings believe that if they surround themselves more and more and more and more material, that's how they can achieve immortality. I can figure out some scientific method to make me live forever. That's incorrect. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on here. It really is a primal fear of death that's causing people to act like this. And we all have it. Some of us have been here more lifetimes than others, so we understand how this place works. Whereas the majority of souls that are coming up have not. There's 8 billion people on the planet. That's the most in recorded history. So there's a lot of new souls that are kind of confused as to how the human experience and body works. And that includes some of the leadership that's coming up, and they have to learn these lessons too. That's why as astrologers, we look at evolutionary astrology and various cycles that we see with the planets to track these eclipses, to track these Saturn returns, oppositions, and squares, to track what Mars is doing, to track the various yogas or energies that the planetary play is presenting to us. We look back into history where this has happened before. We do a research or a deep dive into what happened in that history, and then we can make predictions. So it's like it's history meets science, and that's how we're able to kind of foretell some of these events as astrologers. Okay. All right. So I did also find a really good quote by Yogananda. He is another guru of our recent age, and this kind of helps us understand, the difference between fate and destiny and why we are here. Okay. And this is just from Yogananda. And there is no such thing as fate. You make your own destiny. God has given you independence to shut out his power or to let it in. So you can shut out his power with the material, or you can let it in with the spiritual. You have more strength to overcome difficulties than you have troubles to overcome. You can remedy your mistakes because God has given you reason and will. We do have free will in these bodies. We can do as we please. We can move against fate. But if we follow our Dharma, which is shown in our Navamsha chart, which is 9 divisions deep into the Rashi chart, the birth chart, that shows us whether or not we're on the right path. And then as astrologers, we help you get back on there so that you can continue to elevate your soul to those higher levels of being and understanding. First, you must make up your mind and then hold your will steadily to your purpose until it is completed. Discipline yourself to develop your sleeping spiritual powers. Claim your divinity. Unite your consciousness with God. and receive blessings direct from his hand. And the ultimate blessing was the Loka I just described as becoming one with the universal, all being, all seeing that is the atomic universe in which we live in. So the true way to overcome and conquer death is to become one with divine source. And there are many yogins and gurus who have come down and done that. Christ is one of them. He brought back Lazarus, for example. In the autobiography of a yogi, Babaji is able to bring people back from the dead. They call them twice-borns. So these are guys that understand the universe down to an atomic level, and they can literally manipulate atoms at will and atomically to create things out of Maya, in this play called Leela. So these are very advanced souls, and they have very advanced siddhis, which are spiritual gifts caused by many, many births dedicated to their sadhanas or their spiritual practice where they were able to elevate. And as Jyotish practitioners, which means the science of light, we study that and we look at a soul's chart in order to determine what they need to work through, strength and weaknesses to get closer to that goal, because that is the ultimate goal for all of us. We're all walking each other home. Okay. Yes, Mary, they think that they can cheat death by science. Yeah. Like if I make a bunch of baby farms with my sperm, maybe I can just keep procreating and coming back into all of these bodies, for example. That's one guy's theory. I know that was really big amongst the Nazis as well. They believed that if they perpetuated their race and they killed off other races, that they could then, take over the planet and, keep coming back and make it into an Aryan paradise, things like that. These are all wrong ways of thinking and being. It's when you give those things up that you can attain true immortality. So I wanted to kind of get into the astrology for the day a little bit. And, the tarot of the day a little bit. And the first card that I got was the Hanged Man, but he came up upside down. So if you're feeling a little suspended right now, you're not alone, because there's a lot of people that are looking around kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. I encourage you all to take some type of action, even if it comes from a place of curiosity, okay? Because what the Page of Wands is asking us to do is kind of embrace that more youthful spirit, that inner child that knew what to do before we were beset on by the fear of adulthood and experience. So if you tap into that inner child, that beautiful, vibrant energy, that fearless energy, that can help you better approach what's coming on the horizon and not get involved with things in a more serious manner. Because if we step into that very serious headset, which I struggle with sometimes, we can become a little pessimistic about what's coming. Now, I'm not asking you to rush headlong into a situation like a kid would. You need to take some time to collect yourself, and don't let any impulsive behaviors turn into impatience or irritability. Just stay very focused and composed to achieve your goals, but take it from kind of a lighthearted innocence, because I think we need a little bit of that, especially given the amount of anxiety and things that we're seeing in the collective, especially if you are like me and you've studied World War II and you know a lot about what's coming. Okay, it's important that we step into a time of what would I do if I didn't have all of these things restricting me? Okay, that's kind of what I got from that. All right, a lot of the old structures that we used to rely upon and act upon are gone or going away. So this is a time to take off our crowns, especially if we're well versed in these things, and put on our page caps and start to look at new ways of innovating our way out of our current circumstances. Okay. When we do that, we can take our divine femininity, our power, our resolve back. Our ability to protect ourselves as not only women, because that's going to be under siege, but also as divine creators, because the moon is in Bharani today, which represents the woman's womb. So it's important that we embrace this side of ourselves and we protect it, and that we take actions moving forward in which are best for us, our families, etc. Okay, because that's what the Empress does. And then I got the beautiful Musician. You have got the power. You have the power to manifest your future. We are still at a stage right now where our conscious mind can access a lot of the things that we need to do to focus on control and create magic. Okay, so Luck is still on your side. All right. You are surrounded by the universal forces. You have help. You have guides. The universe is on your side. And so take this moment, take today to really access your skills, your resources, and alignment with what current goals you want to see for your future. Okay, today is a day of manifestation. Recognize that you possess supernatural gifts and talents. You are not just this body, you are not just this personality, you are divinity. And if you tap into that divinity, it can help you out of any situation. So do not underestimate yourself or ignore those divine gifts. And each day, just try to reaffirm your wishes and your dreams. And you might even discover little hidden talents inside of yourself that you didn't even know you had coming to the surface as you do this. So utilize your skills, your intelligence to shape an extraordinary life for yourself. And believe me, know that the sky is the limit if you choose to do this, especially now. So tap into the positive energy of the universe, visualize your desires, and then try to watch as your future unfolds, and then take action based on that. And take it with new eyes, because that's why I believe I got the page. The page is a youthful spirit. It's not the King of Wands. It's the Page of Wands, because the kings, those are going away. We have a new order coming in. So we need to think with new minds, put on our page caps, think a little more innovatively. Okay. So embrace this beautiful inner magician and request what you want from the universe and expect it to be delivered right on time. Okay. That is a really good message that I hope can kind of lift your spirits today and get you taking action, because this is a Mars day. This is a South Node past life day. And if you can access some of that energy, woo, you got it. Right. So I did go to Ganesha because he is the Pratyadi Devata for today, to kind of give us a little extra oomph. And this is a day about beginnings. Okay, there is new energy on the horizon that is going to bring open-hearted opportunities. So just pay attention where you're going and see it as a bit of an adventure. Now he's creating what's called an Abhaya Mudra. This is a gesture of fearlessness, and it offers us reassurance and safety, and it's going to dispel the fear that accords us divine protection and bliss as we make our plans today. So if you're feeling that anxiety, just imagine, you can actually do this mudra yourself, and then bring it into your heart space. And imagine that the divine is touching your palm, bringing that divine protection and bliss, and entering into your heart space, so that you can feel that anxiety start to melt out of you. And then you can renew your mind and start to manifest those plans again. Okay. So he has a lotus on this hand, and a lotus, and then he also has the divine Om. And that is going to help us harness this beautiful energy of that flowering 1,000-petaled lotus of enlightenment that is on the top of our skull, and connect to our divine entity. Like this, the magician is literally bringing things down and transmuting them into the physical world. So when you do this sphere, you are taking things from above and you are bringing them below. The magician is doing this as well. Ganesha is doing this in this card. This is a very divine gesture. Okay, so take this new beginning seriously. Enjoy it. See it as a new start that's going to bring opportunities that help you stay on your true dharmic path toward guidance. Okay, you may need to release others to. Okay, guys, you may need to release the need to bring others into your vision, because not everybody's going to see it. But just trust yourself and be willing to do the work needed for you at this time. Okay, your inspiration is positive. And it can bring forth creativity, finances, and love flowing before you. And ask your guides to assist you today with this new energy, and see the future as opportunistic, opportunities ahead of you. And that can really bring in a very positive, beautiful energy. And then the second card I got from Lord Ganesha was understanding. This card is all about having clear vision. It's the gift of seeing not just with these two physical eyes, but with your spiritual eye. Okay, so the eye of Ganesha, this symbolizes a state of grace that you can reach through your willingness to do your true spiritual work in this lifetime. That's what brings us closer to divinity, to immortality, what all of these rich oligarchs are trying to get to, but they're going about it the wrong way. They're trying to stuff materialism in it instead of giving that stuff up and looking toward the spiritual divinity which is in them all the time. Okay, so you do have the talent and determination to properly see the course before you if you do tap into that beautiful divine eye. So look for deeper meaning in your ordinary experiences today. Look for sign from spirits, whether it's feathers, whether it's coins, whether it's sounds. Look for them. Because if you're living in balance with your physical and your spiritual body, you'll be able to see those signs coming your way and where your guides are trying to route your plans. Okay? So try to take a look at your current circumstances from a different perspective. Like I said, put that page cap on and free yourself from all of those limiting thoughts and beliefs of the past, because those are gone. Those have been washed away, because you're receiving a new opportunity to move beyond your past and into a new way of being and living. So imagine yourself soaring above your current situation and gaining a much greater perspective of what's going on, and your ability to rise above the current conditions will benefit you and assist you in flourishing, because you can actually see what's going on up there. So Spirit is asking you to give yourself permission to be free, to attain joy, and to ask for what your heart desires, especially at that deep spiritual level, aside from the material mire that a lot of souls are getting caught up in, especially with that anxiety piece. Okay, I hope that was helpful. They really wanted me to give you some messages of hope and light and peace today, because there is a lot coming our way, and we still have a way out of a lot of the things that are coming. Know that because you guys are working in spirit, you are much, much farther on this path than the majority of people right now. The majority they're living in anxiety and depression. They're turning to things to make them feel better. Know that in going through your spiritual practices and focusing on that beautiful divinity inside of your heart and practicing empathy for your fellow man, you are already above the fold. You've already gained a higher perspective than a lot of others who are going to get stuck in this, because they're all about holding on to their stuff. Like I mentioned, the kings are. In time, in a few births, they'll eventually let go of some of those things and start to climb on those higher levels of understanding. I'm asking you to tap into them now. If that was helpful, I'm sending you all love as you navigate the many things that are coming with us today. And know that Jonathan and I, say hi, Jonathan. Yay! You're very much in our hearts and our prayers. We try to send love out to every single one of you as we do our concentration and meditation every morning and night. And know that you are not alone in this world, and that divinity is within you. So I'm sending you all love as you go through today. Om Shanti. Om peace. Om love.
Sacred knowledge from the stars. Vedic truth heals ancient scars. Mantras clear the karmic way, bringing light to guide each day.